Right now on KGW News at noon, an AMR ambulance involved in a multi-car crash after a road rage incident. The damage caught on camera and
You're looking at how we fight
a chaotic scene out of a town hall in Vancouver as people express their frustration with their representatives' votes in Washington's D.C. and later.
It's just the blossoms. It's all about the blossoms right now.
A beautiful sea of flowers blooming in Hood River Valley. It's a place best enjoyed by a slow cruising pace to absorb all the nature. Your News at Noon starts right now. Thank you for joining us. I'm China Green. We have learned today that the interim chief of the Cowlitz Tribal Public Safety Department has died. This is a picture of Charles Gardner. The Clark County Sheriff's Office says Gardner was involved in a burglary at a home in Vancouver and then took his own life a short time later. It happened Wednesday night at a home on Northeast 79th Street in Vancouver. As deputies were searching for the suspect, they found Gardner dead inside a car. At this point, we don't know what led up to that burglary. A reminder that if you or someone you know needs help, there's someone to talk to 24 hours a day. Just call the number 988. Now to an update on the man arrested after two standoffs with police in Northwest Portland. A 44-year-old Raul Nava Jr. appeared in court today for an arraignment and requested a release hearing. He had previously pleaded not guilty to his charges. Nava was originally wanted for identity theft. When police went to arrest him on Monday, April 14th, Nava pepper sprayed an officer and threatened them with a knife. After a nearly 3-hour standoff, police decided to back off. So officers went back 2 days later to arrest Nava in his tent. And now he's facing criminal charges, including attempted assault on an officer and menacing. And in a case of road rage, an AMR ambulance was involved in a multi-car crash this morning before 2 a.m. So this all happened at Northeast 121st and Sandy. Here's what we know. Portland police say a suspicious van was tailgating the ambulance crews and yelling at them before it pulled in front of the ambulance. That caused the ambulance driver to slam on the brakes, causing the cars behind to hit them. Now, luckily, no one was hurt in this crash, but the van driver got away from the scene and has not been found. But we will have more coverage on this story coming up in our evening newscasts. All right, listen up. A traffic alert for Max riders starting this Sunday. TriMet crews will start 2 weeks worth of construction work along its blue line as part of its East Burnside Max Improvement Project. So for the first week, definitely expect shuttle buses between Gateway and Cleveland Avenue there. Then a week later, bus service will be in place from East 172nd to Cleveland. All right, let's head over to Rod Hill for a look at weather. You're in house today. You're in house. You're not on the roof.
You never know where I am, right?
Where are
yeah. Well, I should have gone up on the roof because now it's sunny outside. Here's a look at our satellite picture. Turns out the weather models so far have really played out today the way it is happening. We had a thicker cloud cover this morning. We had some kind of spritzy light showers that were toying with Salem. We definitely had rain up in Newport and Eugene. And now all of that is fading away and the cloudiness is thinning out. And it looks like, for the most part, we're going to go on to see a very nice, kind of a bright, partly sunny afternoon. Here's what's left of that shower run. This plays you the last 3 hours. You can see outside of some traces of moisture here on the west side of our state. Pretty much all dry. Partly sunny skies from the Chehalem Tasting Room in Sherwood, 56 degrees, definitely running cooler. This is fun. They've got an activity out on that main grass theater at the end of the Oregon Trail Interpretive Center in Oregon City. You can see the kids out there having a good time. And we are brightening up in Portland. We're up to 61. We'll definitely be up into the 70s this afternoon. I have us at 74. Now, this chance of showers that flirted with us this morning may flirt again later tonight and tomorrow. We'll have your weekend forecast coming up.
Thank you, Rod. We are taking a live look from St. Peter's Square. Thousands of people there await the final chance to pay their respects to Pope Francis. It's empty there, but it is late. But we're about 13 hours away from the late Pope's funeral. NBC's Jay Gray takes a closer look from the Vatican.
Huge crowds continuing to gather in and around St. Peter's Square on the final day that the public can file past the coffin of Pope Francis. As of noon Rome time, more than 150,000 had paid their final respects to the Pope, and that number is going to climb significantly as they move through the evening until it's all closed down. And at that point, there will be a very sacred ceremony, the sealing of the coffin. The cardinals, many of them will be in attendance. It's a time when they go through some of the vestments and some of the traditions of this church, including putting a white silk veil over the Pope's face. He'll be sprinkled with holy water. Inside his coffin, you will find a pouch with coins minted during the time that he served as Pope. He'll also have documents outlining his life and his works. There'll, of course, be a death certificate. He'll be holding a rosary. And a broken fisherman's ring, which is broken at the passing of a Pope, will also be inside that coffin. It will be sealed. And then all that will remain is tomorrow's funeral and his burial at the Basilica of St. Mary Major. That, again, another example of this Pope really stepping away from some of the traditions. He won't be buried in St. Peter's Basilica, but instead at this church that is about 20 to 30 minutes away from the Vatican. It was one of his favorites, if not his very favorite church here in Rome. In fact, every time he traveled overseas, he would leave from the airport straight to St. Mary Major for prayers. He visited, we are told, over 100 times during his 12 years as Pope. He'll return there tomorrow one last time. That's the latest here at the Vatican. I'm Jay Gray, NBC News.
And President Donald Trump and the First Lady have departed for Rome to attend the Pope's funeral. The president commented on his memories of the Pope Francis prior to departure.
Good man. He loved the world, actually, and he was just a good man. I met him twice. I thought he was a fantastic kind of a guy.
You'll be able to watch the funeral for Pope Francis live on the KGW Plus TV app. That starts at 1 a.m. tomorrow morning. If you missed the live stream, we will have the full funeral available on demand later in the day.
Moderator, what was the question? That we are looking at how we fight anti-trust law.
Okay, so back here locally, Congresswoman Marie Gluesenkamp-Perez barely able to get a word in at a town hall last night in Vancouver. You just heard kind of a snippet of how that went. Hundreds of people showed up with a line that wrapped around the building, some eager to express their frustration with some of her latest decisions. One of the biggest points of contention here was her vote in favor of the SAVE Act. That act would require proof of citizenship to register to vote.
Americans believe that only U.S. citizens should be determining the outcome of American elections. And any idea that I am standing to disenfranchise people is patently false. The first bill I introduced in this Congress.
I wish that she had run as independent, because that's truly what she is. She says she's a Democrat, but as a Democrat, she doesn't represent me. She makes me angry with a lot of her votes.
Gluesenkamp-Perez also talked about funding for the I-5 bridge, the fentanyl crisis, and decorum in the White House. We are learning more about how a scammer apparently stole some $6.5 million from the city of Portland. And it all started with an email. Devin Haskins takes a closer look.
This lawsuit filed in New York City details how someone was able to get City of Portland employees to send $6.7 million to the wrong account. The money was a payment for work related to the Bull Run water filtration project, but instead of going to the legitimate contractor, a scammer used a fake email to trick city employees into sending the money somewhere else.
It is so common. It is happening everywhere. This is not just the city of Portland. This is all over the country, all over the world. People are losing billions of dollars to this.
Carrie Tomlinson is the editor-in-chief of Ampix News, an independent outlet that covers cyber crimes.
Cities everywhere are falling for this.
The scammer claimed to be with a company hired by the city to manage the project.
And they do reconnaissance, and they will look for information. For example, what kind of business deals is the city of Portland doing? Where is a spot where I can slip myself in and do some damage?
The lawsuit says that between February and March, the scammer sent multiple emails to city employees asking that a change be made to bank account information for a city contractor. On one occasion, the city sent a link which essentially worked like a password reset link, allowing the scammer to access the legitimate account and make the changes themselves. On March 21st, the city sent a payment for $6,748,680.68. And days later, the account was flagged for fraud, and that's when the city tried to get the money back.
And although there are checks and balances, it is easy to manipulate people into changing the account number to something that the scammers can access.
It's unclear if the city is making any changes to its security protocols in light of this. The mayor's office sent us a statement that reads in part, "The city of Portland is committed to safeguarding public funds. We're grateful for the fast action of local and federal law enforcement to stop the fraudulent transfer before it landed in the wrong hands." As for the money, the U.S. Marshals Service has it currently before it returns it to the city. And as far as we're aware, no arrests have been made so far. In downtown Portland, I'm Devin Haskins, KGW News.